he puts out the mugshot, and now all the rappers and hip hop artists are all like, "Man, Trump, man, he's one of our, he's like us, man. He's got his mugshot out there. He's getting hit up by the DOJ like the rest of us." He's now identifying with a larger audience.
Wow, dude. This is QAnonner Dave Hayes, if you've never heard of him. He's a very high up QAnon interpreter. QAnon doesn't have really religious leaders because it's not really a religion. It's a political cult more than anything. Although it requires suspension of belief or suspension of reality to be a member of this group. So anyways, they have interpreters. These interpreters kind of interpret the words of Donald Trump and of the guy that is Q, that leads the whole group. Q, Clearance Patriot is what he goes by. He interprets their words to try to get some kind of meaning out of it. As you heard in the opener there, we're going to listen to that whole clip in a second. Donald Trump got his mugshot taken a while back, and Trumpland, the QAnonners and all of the other people, not realizing just how racist they are postulating that the black community now is going to vote for Donald Trump because he's like them. How whacked out is that? They have no idea, do they? They don't even realize how deeply racist they are. People like Dave Hayes. It's just like innate in his head, isn't it, at this point? Anyways, if you ever wondered how this whole Q interpretation thing goes, it's very much like a pastor kind of interpreting the Bible. This is just a basic example. This is from like June 2022. There was a Q Clearance Patriot, quote unquote, his screen name, did another Q drop, what they call it, right? And I just want to show you what it looks like. For example, Cassidy Hutchinson was one of the White House aides, and she was in the room for some of the discussions that took place when Donald Trump was planning the insurrection on January 6th. And she testified to the January 6th committee about it. So let me just show you an example of a Q drop and how Dave Hayes kind of processes it.
Q was posting in the middle of the night. Early this morning, we got a message on the board from Q. A little bit after midnight, Pacific time zone, Q posted this.
This is a classic Q drop. It's just cryptic nonsense. It means nothing.
What is at stake? Who has control? Surprise witness? Who was surprised? Who will be surprised? Use your logic. Can emotions be used to influence decisions? How do you control emotion? Define plant.
I mean, you're seeing how this is just garbage, right? This is completely meaningless, like all of it.
How do you insert a plant? Can emotions be used to insert a plant? Who is Cassidy Hutchinson? Trust a plan. Q. All right, so this is a post, obviously, about the testimony of Cassidy Hutchinson yesterday, the surprise witness at the January 6th committee hearing. So yesterday, she testified before the committee.
Yeah, so anyway, they did a whole bunch of hate on her, and he tries to kind of interpret what the hell that meant. In reality, it meant nothing at all. It was just mindless garbage. Kevin Myers, thank you for becoming a member, or for being a member. Use a shovel to install plants. Yes, exactly. That's how plants are installed. Why is Q even asking these questions? Just bizarre. Use a shovel. Dumb. Quick interjection. I won't take long. I just wanted to tell you guys, YouTube's algorithm operates off of a few factors. Watch time, whether or not you subscribe, and whether or not you like something. So if you really want to help my channel, I would appreciate it if you guys watch the video to the end. If you don't watch it to the end, just watch a little bit longer than you would have otherwise. I would appreciate that very much. All right, let's get back to the video. But this is Dave Hayes. That's the guy on the right here. He was the one in that video trying to do the interpretation. Like I said, he's about as high as it gets in the QAnon circles. He is extremely well known for his interpretations and has been largely responsible for what QAnon is today because of his interpretations of everything that QAnon said. If you want to know who Q really is, like who posted that, I'm very confident that it's this guy right here, Ron Watkins. He tried to run for office in Arizona and failed miserably. He got like one of the lowest percentages ever. Anyways, this is Q, in my very well-informed opinion.
My name is Ron Watkins, and I am not a politician. I am an entrepreneur, and I'm a computer scientist. We have to send a fighter, and I am your fighter. I am fighting for you. If you send me to DC, you will know that I will be fighting against this evil, and I will make sure that we drive them back, and I will make sure that your rights are kept.
So anyway, that's Ron Watkins, if you're curious. That's Q, in my well-informed opinion. But that's the guy that Dave Hayes is interpreting. Like, this whole thing is an embarrassment, dude, honestly. If these people ever, like, wake up from this fabricated nightmare that they're living in where the deep state is or whatever, this can be the thing where they jerk awake at night and they can't go back to sleep because they keep thinking, oh, my God, dude, I did all of that stuff. How I made a fool of myself publicly. How do you fix that? That's going to be these guys. Anyway, so let's listen to the whole breakdown. And it's not just Dave Hayes that talked about this specific thing. Eric Trump spoke about it, as a matter of fact, and Julie Green, another QAnoner. So let's listen to Dave Hayes' interpretation of this. This is the new Trump line. The fact that he got mugshotted is a signal that he's gaining minority votes because minorities are criminals.
He's now identifying with a larger audience. You know what I think would be amazing is if while President Trump is doing the rallies that he's going to be doing in the next year.
He's not gaining minority votes right now, by the way. If you look at the polls, it does not reflect that.
I think it would be really cool if he would take some time, go into the inner cities of Detroit, Philadelphia, DC, Los Angeles, go into some of the inner cities, Seattle, just places where he normally doesn't go. Go hang out in the hood, hang out in the ghettos, and bond with those people.
Well, he should be doing that anyways. He should be going around to everywhere because you're not rich donors president. You are everybody's president. That's what it's supposed to be, right? Why didn't he do that in the first place? Now Dave Hayes is like, well, he has an in because he has a mugshot, and all those other people have mugshots too. They don't even realize how racist they are. They have no clue.
And bond with those people. If he does that, I think he would have a massive groundswell of support.
Yeah, if you bonded with those people and tried to win their favor and ask them what they want you to change to make things better for them, yeah, you would have a groundswell of support. That's not what Trump would do or wants to do. Well, for one thing, Trump doesn't want to be anywhere near those people. He wants to, you know what? He spent his entire adult life staying away from them, doing everything he could to be away from them, living in a gated community where people who are below a certain skin tone aren't allowed in. As a matter of fact, he was investigated by the Nixon administration for refusing to rent to black renters back in the, whenever that was, 60s, 70s, something, or whenever Nixon was president. Donald Trump doesn't want to go to, inner cities and win people's votes. He doesn't want to be their president. He can win with the group of white, hateful racists, and that's it. He believes. I don't think he's going to win again, but that's neither here nor there. God, this dude has no clue how racist he is. He thinks he's just giving a reasonable political strategy. This is just nuts.
And bond with those people. If he does that, I think he would have a massive groundswell of support from minority communities.
Anyways, yeah, that's Dave Hayes. That was his take on it. But weirdly, like I said, this is like an oddly popular position in QAnon circles. On the left, you'll see this is Julie Green, and in the middle is a guy named Clay Clark. They're both QAnoners. Clay Clark runs something called the Reawaken America Tour. It's this far-right extremist nutcase tour, a QAnon tour, effectively, where Eric Trump and I think Don Jr. show up to some of these events and speak. So Julie Green believes that Trump is a messiah, and she is a prophet like Moses. And she's talking to Eric Trump here. Just give you a little idea of who these people are, Julie Green and Clay Clark. Check this out. By the way, this is early September 2023 when this clip came out we're about to watch, and when the Dave Hayes clip came out that we just watched.
No matter what they're going to do, and no matter what they're going to try to do to your dad, it will not go the way they want it. It will not go the way they want it because...
Yeah, you told us back in March of 2023 or 22, I don't remember when, that he wasn't going to be indicted at all. Remember that one? So you have no credibility now. None. I'm sorry, Julie. It won't go the way they want it.
The way they want it because God's on his side, and he's called him his David. He's his anointed, his appointed one. He said it more than once.
There she's calling him a Messiah, Trump.
He continually say it. I've had so many different prophetic words regarding your father.
No, you haven't.
And the Lord, I've cried because I knew the love that God has for him, the love that God has for your family, and I could just feel it. And it's like he's not going to forsake you, and he's not going to let this continue.
Dude, I actually have video of her do exactly what she's describing, crying because of the love she felt for whatever. It's a long video, so I haven't watched it in like forever because it's like 5 minutes long, but oh, it's so crazy. Yeah, this is the one right here. This is on apparently July 23rd, 2022. This is part 5 of a prophetic message, and she's literally crying in it. I mean, you can't see the tears because of the glasses, I guess, but her voice is breaking up and everything.
Do not doubt me, and do not doubt what I will do for you. I'll protect whom you love, and I'll protect this nation from what you are being told is possible.
Wait, does Donald Trump love anybody other than himself? Is that who she's saying is going to be protected? I'll protect who you love, i.e. you.
And it could be the worst case scenarios. This will not happen. I will not allow your enemies to go that far.
So you can tell she's crying.
I know it's hard to imagine less casualties in a situation like this.
She's describing civil war.
But I have done this in my word before. My son, go to 2 Chronicles 20. In my written word.
Anyway, we're not here to listen to that crazy stuff. I'm just showing you an example, dude. God, she is nutty. Anyway, that's what she's talking about. She's literally cried over Donald Trump and all this stuff.
He's not going to forsake you, and he's not going to let this continue.
Okay, yeah. So that was the end of that clip. But let me show you Eric Trump's response or reaction to Julie Green. Remember, Eric Trump knows well his father is not a Messiah, and that Julie Green is not a prophet of God. He knows that. You can't convince me he doesn't know that. Early September 2023, just a few minutes later, check out what Eric says here.
Now you're seeing certain segments of the population, like the African-American segment of the population, who are coming out and saying they've done the same.
Yeah, they're not African-Americans for what it's worth. They're Americans. I think the preferred term is just the black community because they're not African American. I bet he's one of those people who would go to an African country like South Africa, and he would talk about how many African Americans there were in South Africa. I bet anything he would do that. Anyway, I'm sorry. I keep interrupting.
The population who are coming out and saying they've done the same crap that they're doing to Donald Trump. They've done it to us for years. They've indicted us for nonsense. They've thrown the legal system at us. They haven't given us a chance in hell. It's been a rigged system.
There you go. There's the argument coming right back out of Eric Trump's mouth, just like it came out of Dave Hayes' mouth. He's saying Donald Trump got a mugshot. Now he's just like us. They have no idea how racist they are. Seriously.
They've literally made my father a martyr with certain segments of the population that they...
No, they haven't. Who is they, by the way? Who are we even talking about? The deep state, the cabal, or whatever? I don't know what he's even talking about right now. But no, Donald Trump's not a martyr to minority communities. His poll numbers are not rising with minority communities. You live in a fantasy.
Population that they otherwise, claim to own. And I'm telling you, it's backfiring on them. Again, it's the law of unintended consequences. You probably wouldn't have figured that if you were thinking about it 6 months ago, but it's certainly backfiring on them.
Yeah.
No, it's not backfiring on anybody.
Called seed time and harvest in the Bible.
Again, she's a prophet. She says it's called seed time and harvest, so she's going to give the prophet's perspective on this. Seed time and harvest, of course, being like part of the end of the end of the end, or whatever, the last days of the last days.
Yeah, it's called seed time and harvest in the Bible. And they're reaping what they're sowing, is what the God said. You always will.
Okay, I don't know who they is, and nobody's reaping what they're sowing except Donald Trump, so.
Bible. And they're reaping what they're sowing, is what the God said. You always will reap what you sow.
I'm wondering why she says the God, is what the God says. That's weird, right? I mean, she believes in other gods, come to think of it. You know, she's a little bit of a polytheistic believer when you think about it. I mean, she's an evangelical Christian QAnonner, as deep as it gets Christian, that's kind of based on Pentecostalism. But she also believes in Baal. Baal, of course, is a god named in the Bible as, he was one of the Canaanite gods or whatever. So, anyway, God, she is something else, dude. She is wild, some of her claims. If you're unfamiliar with Julie Green, though, let me just lay down a couple of other classics for you. This is her talking to Eric Trump back in December 2022.
Is thank you for also standing up, and thank you for standing up for, the Lord and Christianity and just religious freedom in general. I mean,
okay, Julie Green's not standing up for religious freedom, first of all. Second, she believes that she's being praised as a prophet from the son of a Messiah. That's what she believes right now. And she's emotional over it. This is painfully sad, dude. And one more thing, she doesn't, like I said, she doesn't stand for religious freedom. She stands for Christian supremacy. That's what she wants. All right, let's keep listening.
Something that is massively attacked right now. And it's something that I'm actually pretty convinced I'm going to get hit for saying this, but coming out of Obama, where,
sounds hot.
We were losing massive amounts of religious liberty in this country. I mean,
that was not happening.
Massive amounts. You could hardly say Merry Christmas without being like shunned, because you might offend somebody who wasn't
true.
No, it's not true. That never happened. This whole war on Christmas thing was a fabrication. When I came out of like my, pseudo right wing whatever that I was in for a while, I believed there was a war on Christmas. I believed there was a group of people out there who were trying to prevent others from saying Merry Christmas. It was a complete fabrication. That never happened. Coming out of Obama is what he says. We couldn't even say Merry Christmas. God, this is nuts.
You might offend somebody who wasn't
true,
Christian or believe. I mean, it's crazy. I'm not sure if organized religion would not be what it is right now if it wasn't for Donald Trump. And
dude, can you get any more hyperbolic than that? Honestly, organized religion wouldn't be what it is if not for Donald Trump. That is nuts.
A lot of people are, well, is he a religious guy? Yeah, he's a religious guy. And he might not have worn it on his shirt sleeve the way that certain politicians do, oftentimes, unfortunately. And this again sounds terrible, but for votes, there's probably no one that's done more for religious freedom than him. And
no one that's done more for religious freedom than Donald Trump, and he's a religious guy, I swear. Jesus, dude, this is nuts. Here's another throwback for you if you don't know Julie Green, QAnonner. In this one, she is prophesying that Trump will be reinstated in an unusual way. Of course, that never happened. But, we're just going to try to shuffle that under the table, pretend it was never said, and just ignore it completely. Early December 2022 when this came out.
And so one of the things that God keeps saying to me over and over and over again, over and over, that he is going to bring back your father in unconventional ways.
No, God is not talking to you, Julie.
And he keeps saying that over and over and over again. We don't have to wait for a man's way of doing things like an election in order to bring somebody who is actually rightfully the elected president of the United States of America. I still call him president. I will never call Biden president because he's not.
Yes, he is, Julie. Please get help. This is insane. Julie Green keeps getting things wrong over and over and over again. And I don't know how she continues, or why she continues to prophesy despite that fact. What is going through her head? When she gets a prophecy wrong, what knocks around in there, you think? Do you think she just thinks to herself, after prophesying that Donald Trump would not be indicted and then he is? Well, you know, like I misheard him or something. Like, what's her justification here? I have to know.
I don't know exactly how God's going to do it. He doesn't give me that type of information, but
He doesn't give you any information.
he does give me the fact that what he is going to do is
No.
he's bringing him back. And I don't know how he's going to do that. I just know well, can't wait to see them fall. And I can't wait to see what God is going to do with you. So if that's okay.
I would love it. That's beautiful.
She's asking if she can pray over the son of a Messiah. This is like the deepest honor that could ever be bestowed upon a prophet of God ever. To pray over the son of a Messiah. God, dude, this is crazy. QAnonners, man, they are deeply entertaining.
And
how can you not be entertained by this, honestly?
beautiful. And by the way, I believe it 100%.
Okay, I want to pray. So Heavenly Father, right now in the name of Jesus, we just lift up Eric and we lift up his entire Trump family to you, Father.
You know what I find fascinating about what just happened? He says, and Julie, I believe it 100%. That tells me that he knows, that she knows, that he knows that what she's saying is bat insane. And he has to reaffirm to her, I believe you 100%. Absolutely. My dad is a Messiah. You're completely correct. I believe it 100%. Jesus Christ on a cracker. Anyway, God, dude, I just love listening to QAnonners. Julie Green and Eric Trump is all mixed up in here now. And Dave Hayes. There's like the most entertaining people I cover, in my opinion. I don't know. Let me know what you think about it in the comments. These people are ridiculous. And honestly, they have no idea how racist they are. I don't think it's even registering. I think they're just in the dark. Let me know what you think.